If you like this video, please visit the John Wayne Cancer Institute at johnwayne.org or any of the websites listed in this video's description to learn more. Hollywood legend and American icon John Wayne was born Marion Robert Morrison on May 26, 1907 in Winterset, Iowa. As a child, Wayne received his famous nickname Duke due to his love for his dog of that same name.
I was going to school in Glendale and I had a dog named Duke. The dog would follow me as far as the fire station. And the firemen all knew the dog's name, but they didn't know mine. So they called the dog Big Duke and me Little Duke.
In 1914, when Duke was 6, the family moved to Southern California. As a teenager, Wayne worked as a truck driver, fruit picker, soda jerk, and ice hauler. He was an honor student and a member of an outstanding football team at high school. Although he wanted to attend the U.S. Naval Academy, his athletic talents earned him a football scholarship at the University of Southern California, although he left the school after 2 years when his football career was cut short after an injury. While still in college, Wayne began working at a movie studio, doing odd jobs such as scenery mover. It was here that the legendary director, John Ford, noticed the tall young man and hired him as a prop boy.
While I was going to school, I was offered a job in the summertime working at the studios. I met Mr. John Ford, so when I was offered the acting job, I accepted it, never realizing that it would end up a career.
In this job, Wayne got to meet the famous gunslinging sheriff, Wyatt Earp, after whom Wayne would later model his most famous characters. Although Wayne acted in bit parts during his years as a prop boy, his big break into acting came in 1930 when he was cast in veteran director Raoul Walsh's The Big Trail, an ambitious and expensive Western.
I've never told Black Elk a lie yet. He knows my tongue is straight.
What do you mean?
Well, it wouldn't be true if I told him I didn't want you. It happens I do.
It was at this time that Marion Morrison became John Wayne.
My right name is Marion Michael Morrison. The studio decided that it was not American enough for a boy who was going to play Breckenridge Coleman in The Big Trail back in 1929. So the studio heads were put together and they came up with the name John Wayne.
The Big Trail was a failure, but fortunately for Wayne, he continued to receive minor acting roles. It wasn't until 1939, when John Ford cast Wayne in Stagecoach, that John Wayne would become a superstar who would forever be associated with classic Western films and rugged manliness.
My friends just call me Ringo. Nickname I had as a kid. Right name's Henry.
What happened to that boy whose arm I fixed?
He was murdered.
Although the film was intended to be an ensemble piece, Wayne's looks and presence stood out from the rest of the cast, catapulting him to fame. He would become one of the biggest box office stars of his generation, second only, perhaps, to Clark Gable. The year after Stagecoach, Ford cast Wayne as a Swedish seaman in the highly acclaimed The Long Voyage Home.
Well, I work on farm till I'm 16. We live, my mother and brother live, my father is dead. We live on farm just little way outside Stockholm.
Around this time, Wayne filmed the first of 3 movies with screen siren Marlene Dietrich, with whom he fell madly in love.
From now on, things are going to be run my way, and you can start adjusting yourself to that idea. And that's my way. Like it?
Although the romance did not last, the pair remained good friends. From 1942 to 1943, in addition to taking on high-profile acting roles, Wayne starred in a radio series, The 3 Sheets to the Wind.
Here is the actual bombing of the mighty USS Arizona. A single lucky hit was responsible.
Just as
for
Wayne's
the
film
disaster
career
that
began to
befell
take
Tower.
off, the United States got involved in World War II. At 32, and with 4 children, Wayne, who had registered to serve, qualified for a service deferment, which Republic Studios, who had contracted Wayne, requested. Wayne would remain forever haunted for not participating in the war, and it would forever strain his relationship with John Ford, who had encouraged Wayne to enlist. As the 1940s progressed, Wayne got more involved in film production, forming various companies for that purpose. In 1948, he was cast in another notable role in Red River, directed by Howard Hawks.
I'm gonna hang you.
No. No, you're not.
What?
You're not going to hang them.
Who'll stop me?
I will.
The following year, Wayne reunited with John Ford in Fort Apache.
Colonel Thursday, I gave my word to Cochise. No man is going to make a liar out of me, sir.
Your word to a breech.
In 1949, after 20 years of acting, Wayne received his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor for his role in Sands of Iwo Jima.
That's enough. I told you you'd need this bad someday.
In 1952, Wayne stepped out of character as the leading man in John Ford's Oscar-winning romantic comedy, The Quiet Man.
So bold one you are. And who gave you leave to be kissing me?
So you can talk.
Yes, I can, I will, and I do. And it's more than talk you'll be getting if you step a step closer to me.
Don't worry, you got a wallop.
You'll get over it, I'm thinking.
Well, some things a man doesn't get over so easy.
While the 1950s served up a few turkeys for Wayne, such as The Conqueror, which many years later would inspire conspiracy theories due to being filmed in a nuclear testing site, and the number of actors who developed cancer in the years that followed the film, he also starred in the enduring classics Rio Bravo and The Searchers, one of his favorite films.
Why don't you finish the job?
What good did that do you?
Why, what you preach, none. But what that Comanche believes, ain't got no eyes, he can't enter the spirit land, has to wander forever between the winds. You get it, Reverend. Come on,
In
blanket head.
1960, Wayne produced and directed The Alamo. The film flopped and would be one of only 2 films he would ever direct.
Well, it was a calculated risk because of the medium. It requires spending a great deal more money to get it on the screen. I wish I could have made it for $100,000, you know, but it's just was impossible to do this picture the way that I believed it should be done. Just cost that much money.
His acting career, however, quickly recovered, and he went on to star in some of his most famous films, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance and The Longest Day.
Your assignment tonight is strategic. You can't give the enemy a break. Send them to hell.
As well as How the West Was Won and El Dorado.
Hey, Fancy Vest. Go ahead and pull that rifle if you want to. But you better speak to your boss before you use it, because he'll be dead before I hit the ground.
Don't be a damn fool, Joe. Get over there and stand with the others where you can see.
In 1964, Wayne, who smoked up to 6 packs of cigarettes a day, lost a lung to cancer.
I've had cancer. I went right to a doctor and had the operation. Naturally, I had plenty of pain, and it has been hampered me physically since.
Undeterred by illness, the hardworking actor continued acting. In 1968, Wayne, who was known for his conservative politics, produced the second film he would direct, The Green Berets. Though panned by critics and dismissed as propaganda for the Vietnam War, the film was a box office success. The following year, Wayne starred in the film that earned him his one and only Oscar, True Grit.
I mean to kill you in 1 minute, Ned, or see you hanged in Fort Smith at Judge Parker's convenience. Which'll it be?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!
The winner is John Wayne in True Grit.
I feel very grateful, very humble, and all thanks to many, many people. I want to thank the members of the Academy, to all you people who are watching on television. Thank you for taking such a warm interest in our glorious industry. Good night.
He also starred in his first television special, Swing Out, Sweetland, an all-star variety show about American history.
Well, I guess you're all saying here it comes. Just put John Wayne and a show about America together, and you're in for a lot of preaching about what a great country this is and how we should all be patriotic and love our flag and be glad we live in the good old USA, problems and all. Well, that's about the size of it, except it'll be short on preaching.
Throughout his career, and especially into the 1970s, Wayne promoted American values. That led to a 1975 invitation to Harvard University to discuss his political views, where, despite the audience being predisposed to dislike him, he quickly won them over with his self-effacing, deadpan jokes.
Is it true that your toupee is real mohair?
Oh, sure, that's real hair. Not mine, but real hair.
How do you feel about students smoking LSD?
I'm just happy that you all weren't here 200 years ago. They'd have never got that tea into the harbor.
In 1976, Wayne starred as a dying gunfighter in his final film, The Shootist.
My lodgers find out who you are, they'll leave.
I have a cancer. I'm dying of it.
felt so I know you did. And
lousy, this whole picture. It was only the day before yesterday I felt good. But it wasn't just on this picture. I just had a lousy year as far as housing.
2 years later, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer. In 1979, Wayne made his final public appearance to present the Best Picture Oscar to The Deer Hunter at the Academy Awards ceremony.
Mr. John Wayne.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's just about the only medicine a fella'd ever really need.
On June 11, 1979, after a 50-year Hollywood career, John Wayne succumbed to the disease he had beaten 15 years earlier. He was buried at Pacific View Memorial Park in Newport Beach, California. His headstone reads, "Tomorrow is the most important thing in life. Comes into us at midnight very clean. It's perfect when it arrives, and it puts itself in our hands. It hopes we've learned something from yesterday." Shortly before his death, Wayne was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. The following year, he was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Jimmy Carter.
I'm a lucky fella. Lucky that I was brought up to believe in a lot of things I found worthwhile. I believe in common decency. I believe in my country, my family, my fellow man, and my God. I believe in straight talk and freedom with an accent on the free, which is still the best four-letter word I know. Every man and woman or child I've ever known, met, seen, or heard of wants one thing more than anything else in the world. That one thing is tomorrow. Tomorrow, that's the only thing any of us have going for us. And I believe this: if tomorrow all of us, every single one of us, gets out of bed and says, "This is my country, and I'm going to do good for it," we'll make the greatest step forward since a pilgrim's foot found Plymouth Rock. Just might work. We'll never know unless we give it a fair try.
Although more than 40 years have passed since Wayne's last film, he continues to be named one of Hollywood's most popular actors and remains an enduring symbol of all-American manliness.
I believe there's a man upstairs there someplace. There's some being that makes this all possible, and it has to be a pretty strong force, and I prefer to think of it as a father image. In time of stress, I call upon him the best way I know.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and to like the video.